Let's go over a spoiler review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is Mike Zero here once again. If you guys are new here to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. So I know, the big question, did I love the film? Did I hate the film? Well, to be quite honest with you, I was right in the middle, and I view this movie as an average movie. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, and there's a reason as to why I view it like that, and that's because I found myself disagreeing with more things than I agreed with some things in this motion picture. And that's not to say that I disapprove of Rian Johnson's direction or view. I understand that this movie was meant to be a Star Wars movie unlike any other before. So one thing that I really embraced and enjoyed were the space battles. I love how they introduced the concept of the First Order tracking the Resistance through hyperspace. You get this sense of tension because you feel the Resistance getting smaller and smaller and that there's no escape from start to finish of this movie. So with that being said, space battles, amazing and very much enjoyable. Probably my favorite in the sequel trilogy. So, with Luke Skywalker, I want to go into Luke as a character, and I understand that it's been 30 years. 3 decades since Return of the Jedi. I understand that people change, that's a given, even to the point where you won't even recognize them the way that you used to. And that's how I felt with Luke. I feel like at some points in the movie, I recognized Luke as Luke 100%, and there were other times where I didn't necessarily view him as Luke at all. Now, that's not to say that I hate Luke as a character or that I hated Mark Hamill's performance. I feel like he did an excellent job. I just feel like they should have been more consistent with Luke Skywalker as a character, as recognizing him as Luke in the original trilogy, and carrying that over 30 years later to the point where you can somewhat still recognize him in an even manner. Now, when I'm looking at, of course, the first scene of Luke where he chucks the Skywalker lightsaber over his shoulder, that's one thing that I didn't agree with. I feel like that they should have had Luke hand it over back to Rey and say, this doesn't belong to me anymore, go away, and walks away back into his hut. But overall, guys, with Luke, I honestly feel like it just should have been more consistent with recognizing Luke as Luke, that's all. But I just feel like Mark Hamill did an excellent job. Ahch-To, amazing. Beautiful, beautiful planet, shot in IMAX over in Ireland, on Great Skellig Michael, and even on the mainland of Ireland. Beautiful. I loved it. I gotta say, one of the most inspiring looking planets in the Star Wars films to date. That's my opinion. The other thing is, between Kylo Ren and Rey, the Force bonds, I feel like that should have been dialed down to like maybe 2 or 3 max, instead of 4 Force bond sequences. And there were many serious moments in this movie that should have stayed serious without any humorous bits being, an interruption per se. And I get it. Star Wars is Star Wars. It needs comedic value. Every Star Wars film does have comedic value. But I just feel like the humor went a little bit overboard in this movie. And though the Casino City of Canto Bight, I loved the visuals. I loved the way it looked. And I just feel like the purpose of it fell flat after DJ betrayed both Finn and Rose, because the main purpose of going to Canto Bight was to seek out this mysterious codebreaker, DJ, who eventually betrays the both of them on the supremacy for money, it seems, right? I feel like Canto Bight would have served a bigger purpose if DJ had a turnaround moment where he said, alright, I betrayed them, I feel bad, let me help them out, let me redeem myself here. I think that would have gave Canto Bight more purpose, and it would have felt like it was more meaningful. So with DJ betraying them, it kind of feels like it was somewhat of a waste of time for me personally. But I love the visuals of Canto Bight. I love casinos. I love how they implemented that in the Star Wars universe. They kind of had that in Attack of the Clones, which was cool, but they did that more so in this movie, which was nice. Now, the ending. I want to go over the ending, alright? Toward the third act. We have Supreme Leader Snoke. Alright, he gets killed off by Kylo Ren, which was a shocker. A shocker. I wish we had more backstory to this character. And I get it, this was a first Star Wars movie where the apprentice gets to kill the master. I respect it in that sense. I just wish they saved it till Star Wars Episode 9, where you learned a little bit more about Supreme Leader Snoke. But I guess you can view it like this, that Snoke was essentially a component for Kylo Ren to turn against his master and become the big bad on his own. And I was actually quite shocked that General Hux got to survive. It really does make one wonder who is going to be in charge of the First Order while Kylo Ren is out doing his things in Star Wars Episode 9, Seeking Out Rey. I believe that may actually all go to General Hux, which I'm not necessarily sure how that's going to work. Overall, Captain Phasma, I feel like she deserved a whole lot more. I feel like she died way too fast. I feel like they told us that she was going to have a whole lot more screen time in the movie, which they did. They did tell us that, but we didn't necessarily get more screen time of Phasma, I feel. And I think that she died way too fast. I feel like the battle between Finn and Phasma could have been more lengthy. I think that it fell a little short. It was very good. I feel like it was very action-packed in the beginning, but it just fell too short for me. That's just how I feel. I want to jump ahead to the Praetorian Guards versing both Kylo Ren and Rey. My favorite part of the movie, hands down. Hands down. Alright, because we never saw this in a Star Wars film before, where you have a red lightsaber and a blue lightsaber working together, right? A person wielding a blue and a person wielding a red one working together fighting off enemies. So that was a really cool concept, I'll give it that. That was my favorite, absolute favorite part of the movie when it comes to the action pieces. Luke Skywalker, I want to go over his death. His death really, I gotta say, upset me. It really felt very... I felt very heartbroken. This is a character that I grew up with. I remember getting A New Hope on VHS as a kid. My father gave it to me. I grew up with that movie. And I just feel like it fell very short with the action between Luke and Kylo Ren. I wish that they could have locked blades, but they didn't because Luke Skywalker was projecting himself as a Force projection. So I guess that's the reason as to why they couldn't lock blades, or maybe Luke Skywalker believed that, you know, being a Jedi should be used for defense and never to attack. Though, you know, I just wish that they could have locked blades and, you know, we would have had a real lightsaber moment between both Luke and Kylo Ren. And I just wish Luke Skywalker lived. I just don't necessarily agree with him dying by use of Force projection. Whether that was exhaustion or Luke Skywalker giving himself to the Force, that's up in the air. We really don't know. I would like to believe that Luke Skywalker just gave himself up to the Force. That would be more peaceful and had more purpose. As Rey says, you know, it was more peaceful to Leia. And that brings us to Leia. I want to go over the scene in which she gets blown off the bridge of the Raddus and into space. I just feel like that bit was a little cheesy to me, personally. I feel like it was a little overdone where she's floating in space, she's freezing over, and then she goes back into the Raddus. I feel like that should have just been left out. I feel like she should have just, you know, maybe hit her head and she was, you know, unconscious on board of the Raddus. They could have just done something as simple as that. So I didn't necessarily agree with that direction of having her floating in space and flying back into the Raddus ship. I didn't necessarily like that. Overall, guys, this movie, for me, it's very inconsistent. It's really good, and it really falls flat on some parts for me. And I saw the movie 3 times now, and I think that a lot more could have been done. There's a lot of deleted scenes coming to the Blu-ray, over 20 minutes worth of deleted scenes that will be coming to the Blu-ray edition, so I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing with that. So guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.